We've got a brand new router from RYOBI. This is their 18-volt compact router. It's their new updated HP 1 Plus router. So better performance as well as better features. Let's go ahead, dive in, take a look at this, then we'll use it and we'll come back and talk about pricing, about warranty, and what we think of it. This is the all-new RYOBI 1 Plus HP compact brushless router. Now, obviously it runs on the 1 Plus 18-volt platform, and you're going to get the most out of the tool if you're combining this with an HP battery as well. So make sure you're running a high-performance battery with the HP tools to, again, get the most performance and most efficiency out of these tools. We have a die-cast base as well as some easy-to-use adjustments on this. So first, with your macro adjustments, you're just going to flip this open and then grab this button here and be able to quickly slide the router, the base of this router or the body of this router up and down to the height that you need. And then once you do that, you can clip that closed and go for that. Now, if you need to do micro adjustments, then that's where you can go to this dial right here. And you can see that each notch there is equal to about 1/64 of an inch. So you're going to get that micro adjustment there and then clamp down the tool and then you're good to go. Now, we do have an on-off switch right here at the top of the tool where the battery meets. So turn that on and off right there with a switch. And then we also have a variable speed dial where we can go from 6 all the way down to 1. And there are no detents in there, so there's not really click positions. It is a true variable speed dial, so you can dial in the exact amount of RPM that you want, although we don't really know what RPM that is, but you can just increase and decrease that speed per the material that you're actually cutting or rounding over or channeling, whatever you're going to be doing. You see we get the arrow indicators there. If we're going this way, it's going up. Going this way, it's going down or closer to the material. Now, we also get an edge guard with the system as well as a dust extractor or a vacuum port also. So it comes closed off with this piece of plastic here. We have to get that out to replace it with the vacuum port, and we will do that here in just one moment. But also it comes with this edge guide, which again is easy to install. In fact, let me flip this over upside down and you'll see here that the rod just, the threaded ends go into these holes here and just thread in and they will just bottom out. And you have little slots right here where you can use a standard screwdriver on these if you need to as well. We hadn't had any problem just threading these in by hand either. But if they do tend to get stuck, then we can just use a screwdriver, put it in the slot, and then be able to back those out or tighten them up, whatever we need to do. And then the edge guard is basically going to go with this side down, or in this case, I've got it up. And you're just going to line these up here and then slide these on and determine however wide you want to make that, and then close it down with your thumb screws. And now you can use that for edging, or if we wanted to actually route out a channel there, we could do that as well. Now let's go ahead and get this back off. And let's get our vacuum port on there. By the way, the vacuum port will accept internal dimension of 1 1/4 inch and external dimension of 1 7/8 inch hoses. Now, to also remove this, very easy to do. So open this up and then again grab this, and this is going to slide all the way off, giving you the ability to now work on the base, or actually changing bits is very easy to do so as well as you have an arbor lock built right here into the tool as well. So we'll spin that around to wherever that hole is right there, which goes all the way through. So you have two options there, and then find that hole, lock that in, and be able to remove that collet nut. And it comes with a wrench to aid in doing so as well. Now, to get this little window out, this clear window out, and to put in the vacuum port, we do have to remove the base. Just 4 screws. Once that base is off, then you just basically push out the top there and then slide it out. And then it slides down into these grooves here on the base. And then it clips in. And then putting the base back on is basically going to lock that into place. And now once we got that tightened up, now our vacuum port is in place. Now let's go ahead and get a bit in here, and I'm just going to grab a standard 3/8 inch round over bit. Lock that in. And again, very easy to put on our base. You just have to push this button right here, and that's going to clear for the arbor lock as well as the threads for the micro adjustment. And then I can adjust my base to how much round over I want. We'll start right there for right now. Then we're going to throw on a 2 amp hour battery. So let's go ahead and start this. Let's go to speed 4. And we got our round over bit. And let's just see how we do. We're going to run without dust extraction first. So nice and smooth round over. Let me drop that just a bit more. And we'll get full engagement on this. Yeah, let's go about right there. Go again. So very smooth. Nice looking round over. No problem with power whatsoever on that round over. I know that's a simple job for these, but that's pretty typical of what it typically does. Let's get this cleaned up and throw the back on there, see how it does. Okay, we didn't change anything. We're going to find a new side here to the cutting board or whatever this is, butcher block. And all we're going to do is add our vac. We didn't change any depth or anything else. So let's add our vac on here. Turn our vac on, and let's see how we do. Okay, I think we did pick up some residual off of this, but that's pretty much what I was expecting. You're still going to have some residual coming off of this because, number one, we've got a big open window here, which air needs to pass through there, but we also have the majority of that open as well. Now, what I'm curious of is if we use an upcut bit and cutting a channel, if it will pick up the majority of that extraction. Regardless, even if you're picking up, say, 50% of that, that's just 50% more you don't have to collect. But there definitely is no issue on the performance side of things for doing that round over. Let's get that changed out and use an upcut bit, see what we think. So this would be a straight cut or straight fluted bit right here. And this is an upcut bit. So basically when we're turning or cutting, it is ejecting all the fragmentation or all the shrapnel upwards to, especially if you're just cutting, a slight channel, it's going to push all that up so that you can either eject it out or suck it up. So let's see if it does better on the dust extraction side with this into place. Be careful, these will cut you pretty easily, especially if you got a good one. We'll cut about looks like about a quarter, maybe go a little taller than that, or a little shorter than that. There we go. So again, we got a big open side here. However, we're going to be totally closing off the foot or the base. So we should be able to pass our air through here for sucking the air in and be able to grab all that shrapnel coming out and hopefully grab the majority of that dust or wood chips that are coming off of this router. So let's go ahead and put on our edge guide. So you cannot run the edge guide on this side of the tool with the vacuum port installed. So we're just finding that out. Should not be an issue. It looks like it's ambidextrous and can be run on either side of the tool. Yeah. So this comes in and you can see it even clears your bit. So we'll run that out a couple inches. Tighten down our thumb screws. Bring that out just a touch more. There we go. There we go. So now our edge guard will be here. Our vacuum port will be over here. Turn our vacuum on. So that, for dust extraction, did excellent. We have a little bit of residual right here where we first started, but that's it. The rest of this, it picked up almost completely, so we're dealing with maybe 5% residual from that cut. Go a little deeper. So again, stuff right here in the beginning, but still picked up everything else. No mess outside of this board. So a little bit left in the slot here, but other than that, it picked up everything. I'm going to try to make a single pass at that depth. Probably more than I should be, but let's just see. So did leave. So it did leave things in the groove, but again, picked up everything else. So no other mess outside of here, left a little in the groove, wasn't burning any, wasn't getting really hot. So as far as the power to cut, it absolutely does have the power to do that. And I'm running a little 2 amp hour battery. So I don't see any problem with running that edge guard on either side of this. And obviously when you're running the extraction port or the vacuum port, you have no choice other than to run it on that side. But otherwise, I think you could run it on either way if you didn't have the vacuum port here. So roundovers, you're still going to make a mess, but when you're able to contain it and contain that airflow, then we can definitely pick up the majority of that cutting shrapnel. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that you see the dual LED lights shining right there on the base. So you've always got an eye on your work where you can see down through that base and see the work that you're doing. Now also on this block here, we have some pine as well as we have some oak as well as some ash that we're cutting through. So we're cutting through hardwoods, softwoods, and it really doesn't care. Now you can feel it when you're hitting those hardwoods, but it has the power to go through those with no problem. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that for the jobs at hand for this compact router or trim router, that it does very well. It has the power to push through, whether it be with roundovers or even using an upcut bit and cutting things. By the way, when you are going to cut channels like this, I would highly recommend an upcut bit, especially if you're going to use a vacuum, because it's going to eject all that material up, as well as be able to, you know, allow that vacuum to suck most of that up. Now, some of that will get caught in the channel, but sometimes when you're running one of these bits like this, a lot of times it'll get very compacted here. In fact, heat up and then even start burning and ruin your work. So look into getting an upcut bit. And by the way, you can also get downcut bits if you're cutting all the way through something. It will eject everything out the bottom. But with dust extraction, the best thing to do is have an upcut bit, and then you got a better option at pulling that material away. Now with a roundover bit, it's really tough to get most of that because you've got so much open to the air here that it's just going to go 40 different ways, and you're only going to pick up whatever it's cutting kind of near that bit, if you will. Now you can get this in two ways. You can get it as a bare tool, which is $129, which comes with everything here except the battery. If you get it as the kit, then you get it with a 2 amp hour battery and a charger, and that's going to run you $179. So $50 for a battery upgrade, not a bad deal whatsoever. Hey, be sure to keep track of us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, as well as X. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you hated our video, well, then give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day. Keep smiling.